Good day, my dear tourists. My name is Patrice, and you can call me Ate Pat, your tour guide for today. And it's my pleasure to be of service to you. The way I would like you to meet our coach captain, Michael. Say hello, Kuya Michael! And we are from VSHM Travel and Tours. We have prepared so many fun and interesting activities for all of you, and you are about to witness firsthand the beautiful and wonderful historical landmarks of the Philippines. So, are you all guys excited? And now, let's start a head count first, starting with you. 1, 2, 3, and 30. Thank you for your cooperation. But before we proceed with our tour for today, I just like to remind you about our rules and regulations to ensure your safety in the duration of our trip. Sightseeing is fun, but safety and the health of our dear tourists is our topmost priority. First, please remain seated until we come into our first destination. As a safety precaution, we would like to remind our dear tourists to please keep a meter distance to practice social distancing. Wear your mask and face shield at all times. And don't forget to sanitize every after visit of each destination. And now I have here a whistle. And when you hear me whistle once, that means I'll give you 10 to 15 minutes to roam around the area. If I whistle twice and raise my flag, that means we need to go back to the bus to proceed to our next destination. Alright guys, we are now in our way to our first destination, and let me tell you something about the Philippines. Did you know that the Philippines is a world-famous tourist destination? Because aside from its beautiful places and tourist spots, it's also rich in history and culture. Filipinos build different landmarks and places to remember the outstanding sacrifices of national heroes and beautifully exhibit the country's heritage. These popular works of architecture can capture not only the eyes, but also the hearts of the viewers. Welcome to Fort Santiago, our first destination that is located in Intramuros. It is one of the famous tourist destinations in the Philippines. It is a historical structure that is part of the city's famous wall. The attraction of the site is a museum where you can find a replica of Dr. Jose Rizal's prison cell before he was executed. The rest of the Fort Santiago has been set up into a beautiful park. There is also an imitation of old dungeons, dark underground chambers or cells used to confine prisoners. You can just imagine how hard it is to be imprisoned, tortured, and executed in one of them. We're here in our second destination, and kindly put your trash in the trash can and please remain seated. Welcome to Rizal Park. Did you know that it is previously called as Bagong Bayan Field, Rizal Park, or Luneta Park? It is built as a tribute to our greatest national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. It is one of the leading historical sites in the Philippines where Rizal was executed by the Spanish military firing squad on December 30, 1896. Because he had spread the ideals of revolution against Spanish rule. Nowadays, it is one of the major tourist attractions of Manila. The park became a favorite spot for unwinding and socializing. It is also a place for family bonding and picnics during Sundays and holidays. For our third historical landmarks, welcome to Corregidor. It is also known as the Rock, and it is also known for its historical attractions. When the Japanese invaded the Philippines, Corregidor became the headquarters of the Allied forces, and also the seat of the Philippine Commonwealth government. The huge firearms of Corregidor, which are used in support for Filipino and American defenders of Bataan, are now silent, but the damage seen on buildings, structures, and tunnels in the island continues on telling a very moving story of a war that has claimed so many lives. A visit to this former battleground is a memorable experience, especially for those people who value and cherish freedom and peace. Here we go to our fourth destination in Intramuros. It is also known in history as the Walled City because of its famous feature, a nearly 3-mile-long circuit of massive stone walls and fortifications that almost completely surrounds the entire district. It is the oldest district and historic core of Manila, where all the Spanish-era influences are still plentiful. Photography and history lovers will find Intramuros as interesting destinations. If you visit the place, you can still feel the Spanish ambience and appreciate the historical landmarks and churches in the area. Plus, visiting Intramuros is a very affordable and worth your time. Going here, you can re-experience the past in a modern light. To our 5th historical landmarks, welcome to the EDSA Shrine. It is also known as the Shrine of Mary, Queen of Peace, and Our Lady of EDSA. It is a small church of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Manila, located at the intersection of Ortigas Avenue and Epifanio de los Santos Avenue, EDSA, in Quezon City. It is a monument dedicated to the first People Power Revolution and its peaceful outcome on December 15, 1989. It is a place that witnessed the two demonstrations overthrew the presidencies of Ferdinand Marcos and Joseph Estrada. This shrine is a towering proof that fighting for freedom doesn't have to be a blood-spattered cause. Rather, it can be achieved through peaceful means and with no casualty. Welcome to Barosian Church. Having earned the title as the cradle of democracy in the East, Barosian Church is the most important religious building in the Philippines. It was founded by the Augustinian missionaries in 1859 and served as the session hall of Malolos Congress. The first Congress in the Philippines, which was held in September 15, 1898, under the presidencies of Pedro Paterno. 3 major events in the Philippines history happened in this church. First is the convening of the First Philippine Congress, held in September 15, 1898, the drafting of the Malolos Constitution, September 29, 1898 to January 21, 1899, and the inauguration of the First Philippine Republic, January 23, 1899. The architectural design of the church attracts and engages visitors because of the curved facade, rose windows, and medieval bell tower. Its floral motifs and paintings of angels and saints along the ceiling adorn the interior of that church. To our 7th destination, welcome to the Leyte Landing Memorial Park, also known as the MacArthur Park. Did you remember the promises made by General Douglas MacArthur, which is the "I shall return"? He kept his promise when he returned with an army of 700 ships containing 174,000 American soldiers at Red Beach, Palo, Leyte on October 20, 1944. The red in Red Beach doesn't refer to the natural color of the sand, but its color after being drenched in blood. Many tourists visit the park to reminisce an important event in history. Our 8th destination is in Mactan Shrine. Mactan Shrine is located in Mactan Island in Cebu. It is made in honor of Lapu-Lapu, Ferdinand Magellan, and the Battle of Mactan. It is also known as Liberty Shrine, and it lies on the very ground where the battle took place. The said encounter was between the Spaniards, led by Ferdinand Magellan, and the locals led by Lapu-Lapu. Ferdinand Magellan and his crew were the first people to introduce Christianity in the Philippines. In the quest to prove that the earth is not flat, he traveled the world and docked in Mactan, where he was eventually killed by Lapu-Lapu on April 27, 1521. Lapu-Lapu is recognized as the first native of the archipelago to have resisted the Spanish colonization. Our 9th historical landmarks in the Philippines is the Rizal Shrine. Rizal Shrine is an important historical place in Dapitan where Dr. Jose Rizal spent 4 years in exile. He was also a father and brother to all Dapitanons, serving and helping those who needed him. No wonder Dr. Jose Rizal is considered as the Philippine national hero. And for our last and foremost historical landmarks in the Philippines, welcome to the Banawe Rice Terraces. Banawe Rice Terraces was made approximately 2,000 years ago. carved into the mountains by the indigenous people using only their hands and some crude equipment. It is said that if the steps were put end to end, it would encircle half the globe. It is considered as one of the mankind's greatest engineering accomplishments. So my dear tourists, have you enjoyed our tour? I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And I hope that you learn a lot of historical landmarks in the Philippines. So this is my time to bid goodbye to all of you. Thank you for choosing BSHM Travel and Tours. Keep safe and God bless.
Piliin mo ang Pilipinas.